What is going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 256 of the Michael Lab Show. I got a good one in store for you guys today. And girls, guys and girls, we are not sexist around here. We love everybody. We treat everyone as equals. Unless you are a Nazi, then we don't treat you as an equal. Well, actually, you know what we do? We do treat you as a Nazi. You messed up. You made a big mistake. And a fun thought experiment that you can do if you're at home right now, which is a thought experiment that most people don't like to do. And it's a thought experiment that people like every time so this is what it is. So the premise is essentially like, how bad am I? Like, as a person, am I an evil person? You know, it's a simple question. Am I a bad human being? Well, your initial reaction is no, I'm a good person. That's what you want to say. That's what you want to think. That's what your family, that's what your friends tell you. That's what your girlfriend tells you. That's what your dog says to you, your fish, your shark. You're under the impression that you're a good human being. Well, maybe you're a good human being in this time, in this day and age. But also, you got to think about this. Like, you're a good human being because we all have our own values. We all have our own morals and values. Well, those dictate the kind of person that we perceive ourselves as. So, here we go. My values are, I'm going to treat everybody as an equal. I'm going to treat people the way I would like to be treated. Very simple rule. I want to give everybody with all across the spectrum of ideas and thoughts a chance. I want to listen to everybody. I don't care about your political party. I don't care about your socioeconomic placement in the world. I just want to hear everybody's opinion. Okay, so if I feel like I'm living up to those values, if I feel like I'm living up to those morals that I set forth for myself, I'm a good person. But if you take somebody who thinks the opposite, if you take somebody who thinks, a certain group of people are better than this group of people, Democrats should go to hell, Republicans are the best, or vice versa, Republicans should go to hell, Democrats are the best. Well, if I think that way, and I'm a Republican, or I'm a Democrat, I would think that those people who are Republicans are pieces of shit. Those are bad people. But in my head, I'm a good person. So if you have certain values, like here we go. Here's an example. If you punch a woman, if you hurt a woman, if you physically assault a woman, to me, you're a bad person. I don't care if you're intoxicated. I don't care if you're under the influence. I don't care. To me, that's a line that you don't cross. Another example, if you're somebody who tries to force their values on somebody else, to me, and you know that you're doing it, people have told you that you do it, and you acknowledge that you're doing it, I think you're a bad person. But here's a fun thought experiment. So take a second, just sit here, wherever you're in the car, keep your eyes open if you're in the car, but if you're sitting at home, just close your eyes. Okay, so it's 1925. You live in Germany, and your country has just been decimated by the rest of the world. World War I. You went to war, Russia wiped you out, England wiped you out, France wiped you out, and now you're just Germany, and you're a broken country. You had a strong military before 1914. You were powerful. You were going to the top. I'm reading a book right now called Diplomacy, where I'm getting a lot of this information from, by the way. But you're powerful, like no one's going to mess with you. And then you trip up, you go to war. Someone kills somebody over something, and then next thing you know, a war breaks out. Okay, so after this war, your country falls apart. Your economy is horrible. I want to see what Germany's inflation was during the Germany's inflation after World War I. In 1914, the exchange rate of the German bank. How bad was inflation in Germany after World War II? Okay, so the meetings produced no workable solution, and inflation erupted into hyperinflation, the mark falling to 7,400 marks per U.S. dollar by December 1922. The cost of living index was 41%. Okay, so your CPI right there is 41%. Currently in this country, we're about an 8.3 CPI. So, and 685 in December. a nearly 17-fold increase. By fall of 1922, Germany found itself unable to make reparation payments. So basically, they were told that they have to make payments because of all the crap they put the rest of the world through. Here's so Germany value of one gold mark in paper marks. By the end of 1923, it was over $1 trillion or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, basically what I'm saying is, so you have all this money. It's useless. It does nothing. It buys nothing anymore. Your country's falling apart, and you can kind of see that resemblance here in America, ever since, this, here it's kind of fascinating. If you look at the price of gas has doubled within the past year. And I told that to Taylor and she didn't believe me. I pulled up a chart and literally average price of gas was like $1.89. $1.89 this time last year. It's $4.37. That was as of 2 weeks ago. Okay. And if you think that is bad, just wait. I mean, our country right now is about to go through a big, I hope it's not as bad as I think it's going to be. I no longer look towards any person in power at all. I mean, those people know nothing. And what they know, they don't tell us because they don't want to panic us. But see, the issue with that is if you don't tell us how bad of a situation we are in, there's a lot of people in this country. There's a lot of people in this country who the actions that they take on a daily basis are due to what they hear from the media and what they hear from people and what they hear from politicians. That's what they do. And it's not because they're dumb. It's not because they're not intelligent, but that's, maybe they're just busy and that's how they dictate their life. They go, so, you have all this money now because you were given free money by the government, $3,000 worth. Your job is, kept on. Here's a perfect example. Your job keeps on increasing your pay, so you go up 2%, and then you go up 3%. So you're making 5% more, so you're making $105,000 now. You're excited about that, but you're not aware of inflation. I think most people, it's just now getting to the point where people are aware of what's going on in this country. I don't think people, and that's in my hemisphere. My hemisphere is always obsessed with, the market, always obsessed with the economy. And I talk about it nonstop. I talk about it all the time to Taylor. Hey man, this is a situation. The situation right now in our country is we have a war going down with, Russia, and they're not, seems like homeboy is on the verge of death, which is terrifying. The second in command's not afraid to drop a nuke. They joke, a media outlet in Russia joked about they could take out New York City before we even knew what was happening. You have inflation at 8.3%. You have people aren't going back to work. You have, distrust in media and government. And you just, but I don't think I think a lot of people are aware of everything that's happening besides the money side, but that's so important. Right now, when it comes to money and the market's crashing hard, but the only thing that people really want to talk about right now is here's an example. I'm all over the place with that. I apologize. But here's an example that's been mind-blowing for me to listen to. And I don't know if you guys have been listening to it too, but you have our president. Honestly, right now in this country, it feels like we don't have a president. And I'm not trying to be partisan here. I'm not trying to hate on any party. If you just look at this objectively, it feels like we've gone 2 years without a president. It really does feel like that because nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been said. If you just look at within the past year, we've Afghanistan's completely controlled by the Taliban. Drugs are coming to this country nonstop and from Mexico, but it's coming from Mexico, but a lot of the drugs are coming from China with fentanyl. Fentanyl is coming here. They send it to Mexico and then they just ship it up. Then they cook up the coke and the drugs and all. Lil Xan was on Mike Tyson's podcast and he was talking about that. It was mind blowing. Just the amount of drugs that are being pushed up here in this country. People are overdosing left and right. social media is taking an algorithm and pinning people up against each other. So like hatred's there. The name calling is at an all-time high. You have our president up there, President Joe Biden's up there, like calling the right ultra MAGA. And then he's calling, Donald Trump the ultra MAGA king. Like what? The ultra MAGA king. First of all, dude, you can't, when you got a complete sociopathic narcissist like Donald Trump, who is a full-blown narcissist, calling him king is insane. Like when you see that, you watch that and you're like, oh, this guy's a loose cannon. Like nobody knows what he's gonna say. If he goes off script a little bit, but like, just think about the psychology of that. And like what's happening right now in the government is they're under this illusion. There's two options. Either one, which is the option that I think is most likely. There's two options. The first one, which I think is a possible option, but I don't think it's one that they actually believe in, that they believe they have the power and that they believe the country is on their side. That they believe everyone who voted for Joe Biden is going to vote for Joe Biden again, and they're actually winning votes. But then there's going to be, so when Donald Trump runs, there's no way he's going to win. But I think what's happening is they're terrified, and it's like when you pin somebody up against a wall. If you pin a cat up against a wall, it's not going to just sit there and let you kill it. It's going to attack you. And I think that's what's happening is like, not Barack Obama. I wish it was Barack Obama. God damn, miss him. Jesus Christ. Fucking, it's been too long. Fucking, we need a president back. Like, this is just, I don't know, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, bro. You listen to, like, just the fact that, like, do you guys remember when he went to, and I want you guys to also understand, like, when I'm bashing Joe Biden, I'm not doing that because I love Donald Trump. I didn't vote for the guy. The dude's a full-blown, I mean, he's an idiot. Like, he's an idiot. He's a sociopath. He's a narcissist. The people who follow him, like the diehard MAGA people, I mean, they are very much, I know a lot of them, and I feel for these people because there's jumps that you have to take in your mind that you have to just block out in order to believe the things he says. And it's terrifying. And what's scary to me is that he's going to win the presidency in 2024. And there's just no doubt about that. There's just no doubt about in my mind that he's not going to win 2024. And if it's not him, it's whoever the Republican candidate is. The only way that I truly think someone can win the presidency, and it's not Donald Trump or whoever the sitting Republican is at the time for primaries, is if Barack Obama or Michelle Obama decide to run again. I mean, that's the only way. And I think if Barack Obama ran, he would crush it. I think he would win very, very easily too. But if they don't put in one of those two and they just, go with Joe Biden again, or I don't know who else they go with, AOC maybe. She would put up a fighting chance. Elizabeth Warren, I mean, that girl's all for fucking rocker lately, but I don't know what the future holds. It's scary. It's actually scary. But in the meantime, I think single-handedly the most important thing you can be doing right now as an individual is cutting your expenses as much as you possibly can. Being very smart with where you spend your money, how you spend your money. Download apps. I use an app called Gas Buddy, and it tells me where the cheapest gas is around me. Use your credit cards to get back points, get back cash back. Don't just use cash. Using cash right now is using only cash for anything ever is retarded. It doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't, and this is not financial advice. This is just me speaking. I don't use cash ever. Any like physical, I'm talking physical cash, like greenbacks. I keep those in a mug and I save up all my cash, and like, I don't do anything with it. I do nothing with it. I have a debit card I don't use. I think I have a debit card. Yeah, I keep a debit card on me just in case my credit cards don't work. But I don't know my PIN number to that, so that's an issue. But you shouldn't be using that either. And once again, this is not financial advice. It's just what I believe in. because credit cards give you cash back, and getting cash back on anything is like free cash. So like, for example, I DoorDash, 5-6 days a week. That's my primary source of income right now until I land a remote position, which I'm applying to. I had a hit from a company based out of Towson. They called me back. They said they wanted to do an interview with me. I didn't call them back. I looked up the company, and the first question was, is this an MLM? So mid-level marketing, which is basically a pyramid scheme. Once I saw that, I was like, nah, I'm not wasting my time, because I had the, I went through that rodeo once. That was one of the first questions I saw on a past employer. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. I don't want to. And I know, like, for me, I fill up 2.5 times a week. Well, I fill up all the way. I spend about $140 a week on gas. Okay. And around here, it costs me about $57 to $60 to fill up my full tank of gas. Around here, the average gas station, I would say, is like $4.10. Gas Buddy, I can find a gas station. There's a gas station about 10 minutes from my apartment where I fill up gas, and it's $3.95, and I can use my Apple Pay, so I get 2% back. There's a $3.97 at Sam's Club, which I normally use, but they don't do Apple Pay with the, the poke on the thing. You gotta use your credit card, and when you use your credit card, when you use your physical Apple Pay card versus your digital Apple Pay, you only get 1% back, so 2% back. But you want to save that cash. That cash is important. You can buy things with that cash, or you can pay off your credit cards with that cash. But like right now, for like the next year and a half, hopefully a recession hits like this year instead of next year, just to get it over with. Because recessions make economic growth. Economic growth leads to recessions. That's just, it's what it is. Like, a recession is not because failed policies all the time. They're based off of human nature, which everything technically is based off of human nature. But that, there's part of the world. Honestly, recessions are just how economies grow. They expand, they contract. It's a very, very basic economic idea. When you grow at a macro level, it eventually slows at a macro level. When it slows at a macro level, it slows at a micro level. And when it starts picking up at a micro level, then it starts growing at a macro level. It's just, that's basic economics 101. But like, I know for me and Taylor right now, like, I've cut down my expenses big time. I don't eat out ever anymore. I don't travel long places just for the hell of it. We don't go shopping for random shit anymore. And that's not because like we're trying to, get super rich. It's just that during times of inflation, your dollar loses value. So what I'm saying is, what you need to be doing right now, and this is not financial advice, once again, this is just what I'm physically doing. What I'm physically doing, I give you just all my hand, cutting down expenses, saving my cash, saving my money, taking my money that's in my savings account and investing it, even when the market's down. I just dollar cost average. I put money in each week between the QQQ and the Vanguard S&P 500 or VOO. That's all I do. I put a few $100s a week, multiple hundreds of dollars a week, and I do that every single week, no matter what. I scale down, I scale in, I scale down, and I scale up at the same time. Doesn't matter if the market's going up or if the market's going down. That's what I do. And the reason why you do that is because right now my investment account is actually down. I was up like 30%. Now I'm down like 10%. But moments like this, like, and this is the fucked up thing about like wealth, is that you become wealthy when everyone else becomes poor. Like, that's when you set yourself up to win. And it doesn't make sense, but here's the basic equation. When the market's doing really well, everyone's doing really well. Everyone's making money, because it's hard to be losing money unless you bought in super duper high at a point. Like, if you bought in at the .com bubble, you didn't make your money back for 10 years. But outside of those crazy moments, which we could possibly be looking at now, hopefully not that bad, but what was I saying? So what happens is, during recessions, the rich become richer, the poor becomes poorer, because during recessions, the market crashes. If you have decent amount of money saved up, or if you're financially stable, or if you live, like, I know for me, the amount of money I make and my expenses, my debt to income ratio is like I only spend like 50% of the money I make. And then I invest like 40%, and then I save 10%. But I've set up my life like that. I live in a cheaper apartment. We moved to a cheaper area. That's what I do. And I do that purposely so I can live a life that's not, I mean, I live a beautiful life now, but by doing this, I can live a life at 35 freely, because I'll have assets, I'll have property and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, as the market goes down, inflation goes up. Okay, so as inflation goes up, what ends up happening is there's people who are in the market but can't manage to survive the market because they need liquid cash to pay for the bills, because now the gas that used to cost them $20 to fill up now costs them $40 to $45 to fill up. You do that 3 times a week, that's an extra $75. That margin's tight for a lot of people. Groceries are $100 a week, now they're $120. That's an extra $80. You see $155 right there, extra money. That's the money they used to be investing, but they don't do that anymore. Now they need that cash. So what's ended up happening is they stop investing. If a market's at par level and it drops 10%, and you can't buy down when it's 10%, you only start buying again when the market goes up, dude, you missed out on 10% purchase to pull down your average cost. That 10% makes the world of a difference. I mean, 10% added onto an investment portfolio at $1 million is $100,000. That's an additional $100,000. And then you add compound interest into that. But if you're in the middle class, you miss that opportunity. You miss the buying the dips. That's what they call it, buying the dips. And what you see is V-like recoveries are what I think my generation is used to, where the market just crashes and shoots back up. It hasn't been like that. This has been a quick decline, but like steady over time. And we haven't really had a relief rally yet. But this is what happens during these times. This is what happens during recessions, is the rich become wealthier because they can buy that 10% dip. So they add 10% to their net worth just when it hits par. But then when it keeps on going, I mean, I don't want to say it's unfair, but I want to say that people aren't aware of it. And I think that's upsetting. It's upsetting because when you see articles like, let me pull this up, California. There's this crazy article I saw that California is possibly going to pass a new stimulus package. Here you go. Okay. This is from Gavin Newsom's page, official office governor. Okay. So I'm going to read this to you, and it sounds great, but everything I just said, you got to remember. Everything I just said, you got to remember as I'm reading this to you. Okay. So Governor Newsom proposes $18.1 billion inflation relief package. That sounds crazy. $18.1 billion inflation relief package. How does that work? We're in 40-year highs of inflation because of relief packages. What you're passing right now is not going to help inflation. It's going to make it worse. And this is the stuff I don't understand. And I don't understand this because there's PhDs who work with him, economic majors who have PhDs. And do they really think that this is like the way to get yourself out of inflation? Like, I genuinely believe that. Or are they just doing this to win votes, to stay in power? Like that's my issue. I think that's what it is. Before I became jaded during COVID because everything that was a conspiracy is now true. I know people who got COVID that have whatever. All I got to say is, like, I was probably one of the most unsafe people when it came to COVID. I didn't give anyone COVID though, because I never got COVID, and like, I would be the enemy, but I'm the one who never got it, and because the reason why I think I never got it, my opinion is because I was healthy the entire time, and also I think there's like a blood thing happening there. I don't know. Some people just don't get COVID. Like, my dad never got COVID. But you can't use money you can't give people more money to pay. Like, here, perfect example. If everyone gets a $1,200 check, what happens to your rent? It goes up $1,200 because now the baseline is zero again. Because you didn't actually give people money. You gave people money physically, but in a percentage, nothing changed. Nothing at all. So this was May 12th, 2022. Let me hold on 1 second. Okay. Package includes, I'm currently paused door dashing. It's Friday, dude. This is what I do. I pause, I sit back for like 4 hours, I make all my money Monday to Thursday, then I go back out. Even though I think it's supposed to be thunderstorming all day, which is good. Door dashing during thunderstorms can be good. It's annoying because you get wet, but it's nice because no one else is door dashing, so like you get all the orders, so you can be very picky. By the way, I'm like an expert now when it comes to door dashing. I know all the rules. I know where to DoorDash. I know where not to deliver, where to pick up, what time of the day you should pick up from certain restaurants. You know, I know everything. How much an order should pay you in order to pick up, dollar per mile minimum. Nothing less than $6.50 unless it's like unless it's like towards the restaurant. Like if I get a order for like 3 miles for like, 5 miles for like $3.50, but I'm on my way to the Chick-fil-A. The majority of those miles are made up for me driving there, so I'm getting paid to go to my destination. So it's like stuff like that. I know I'm a loser, but I'm very open, and I tell you guys everything. Okay, so packaging May 12th, 2022, Governor Newsom proposes $18.1 billion inflation relief package. Package includes direct payments to help address costs of rising inflation and past due water and utility bills, free public transit, money for healthcare workers, middle-class healthcare subsidies, and waiving childcare fees for families. All that sounds good, but I'm going to break down each section, and we're just going to crush it. We're going to ruin it. Includes direct payments to help address cost of living inflation. Okay, you give me $1,200. People have more money. Price is going to go up. Everything's going to go up. You put more money in the system, it overflows. Okay, so you messed up there. Inflation is just going to go higher. Past due water and utility bills. Okay, so now you're not paying back what you owe. Okay, so you've already set a horrible precedent there. You got to pay back for what you owe, and that's why I'm against wiping out student loan debt. Maybe I'm for, taking a few dollars off here and there, but I'm not. I hate the idea of just eliminating student loan debt because you knew that. All those med students out there who are bitching and complaining, and like JDs, like Chipotle. People who have lawyer degrees and bitching about how expensive. Bitch, you knew that. Like, I don't understand what you're complaining about. You knew how expensive college was going to be. Like, you knew how expensive med school was going to be. You knew how expensive it was going to be to become a lawyer. Like, you knew that. What are you doing? Why are you complaining about that? You have no one to blame but yourself. But I was only 22 and no. You're an adult. You're an adult. Get over that. You fucked up. Admit that you fucked up. Admit that you're never going to pay off your debt. But don't go to the government to ask them to pay off your debt. That's your debt. You owe that debt. I can't stand that shit. Maybe that's a conservative side of me, but I pay for what I own. What I owe, I pay. I pay off my credit card every single week. I pay off my car payments. I pay my rent. I do this shit. And I know it's like, oh, you're lucky. Not everyone's. I don't care. Like, I genuinely don't care. You go to med school, you know what's happening. It's an investment. Free public transport, that's good. Money for healthcare workers, that's fine, I guess. Middle-class healthcare subsidies. Waiving childcare fees for families, I think that's a good idea, but the only issue with that is there's a reason why there's childcare fees, because I'm assuming that's how childcare employees get paid. So if you just eliminate the fees, now you don't have employees, you dummy. Sacramento, as people throughout the country face increasing costs due to global inflation, Governor Gavin Newsom today announced an $18.1 billion inflation relief package to get money into the pockets of Californians. Quote, we enacted the most comprehensive economic stimulus program in the nation last year, getting billions in immediate relief to millions of Californians. That sentence is insane. We literally gave billions last year, and a year later, no one can afford to live anymore. We gave billions of dollars two people who didn't have to work for it. They didn't trade time for money a year ago, and now fast forward a year later, no one can afford anything. Okay, so we're doing it again. But many folks are still struggling, especially with high cost due to inflation. So we're leveraging this historic surplus to get money back into the pockets of Californians. This inflation relief package will help offset the higher costs that Californians are facing right now and provide support to those recovering from the pandemic. It's just not true, though. It doesn't work that way, bro. Additionally, California's minimum wage is to increase to $15.50 per hour for all workers on January 1st, 2023. The accelerated increase is required by provision in the state's existing minimum wage law. Okay, states. I'm going to see the states with highest gap between rich and poor. It's fascinating. Let's look up this stat real quick. This is as of 2019. Show all. Utah's the lowest. I don't know what a there's two that are southern. Okay. So this is Gini coefficient as a measure for household income distributions inequality for U.S. states in 2019. So the Gini coefficient is calculated by looking at average income rates. A score of 0 would reflect perfect income equality, and a score of 1 indicates a society where one person would have all the money while all the other people have nothing. Okay, so New York, District of Columbia, Connecticut, California, Massachusetts, 5 of like the first 7 are states that are very, very progressive, and also states that have very high crime rate. And the reason why that goes together is because you have in states where you have a lot of high crime, or states where the gap between the rich and poor is very wide. And because when you become really poor and you become desperate, you turn to crime. But I just wanted to pull up that article. Like I don't know. I saw that this morning and I was literally mind blown. I put it on my Instagram story. Like what am I reading? Am I reading something like real here? The accelerated increase is required by a provision in the state's existing minimum wage law that inflation exceeds 7%. The COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in persistent supply chain disruptions, and labor market frictions have driven inflation to its highest rate in 40 years. These conditions have further been exacerbated by Russia's war in Ukraine. You're lying. You're lying. This is true. The COVID pandemic has resulted in persistent supply chain disruption. That's true. Labor market frictions. That's true. And the war in Ukraine. That's true. But the one that you didn't say was all the money that was given out, the free money that was given out. You didn't say that. That's the main reason. When you put $6 trillion into an economy, the bathtub overflows with water. Inflation goes up, homie. We're not that dumb. People aren't stupid. Maybe people are stupid. They really just genuinely think like, oh, our government loves us. He's here to help us. Fuck out of here, dude. I can't stand that shit. I hate when they try to think we're just dumb, dude. I have a bunch of topics here I want to talk about. What is science? It's good to like yourself. Fuck off. Atlantis floor. Autism, unemployment. James Cromwell, a trauma guy. The reality of working in cities, environmental tragedies. Here's one thing that has been very odd, to say the least, is this whole thing that's going down with Bill Gates. He is like, so first of all, like Bill Gates is like the center of so many controversies. And because, because he's somebody who is very wealthy, right? Very wealthy. He's like an Elon Musk. He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He knew Jeffrey Epstein. Allegedly, he went to the island. His wife divorced him. He was one of the leading figures during the entire pandemic, which was very strange because he's not a scientist. He has no PhD in anything, health care related. The dude allegedly took an idea from Xerox and turned it into Microsoft. Allegedly, that's what happened. And he is always like right before the pandemic broke out, they had like a simulation about what to do during a pandemic. When the pandemic did break out, he seemed to be the person that everyone went to for advice. He was telling us to take shots that, from companies that nobody has ever really trusted before. He was just a proponent of everything that the government was saying and doing, which is weird. And then stories came out with him and his wife, and then his wife said she did not approve of the relationship that Bill Gates had with Jeffrey Epstein. And then allegedly he was buying up all the land, and then they put out, fact checking things where he only owns less than 1% of the land in America, but he owns the most as a private person, allegedly. And then people are like, why is he buying all this land? And then you look up, where's the video? Here you go. Stuff like this. Let me show you real quick. This is just, I don't know. This is just weird. Maybe I'm just being an asshole. Okay. So, you know how there's like a huge shortage right now of baby formula? And no one can, most of the baby formula is gone. It's not on the shelves. Okay, so that's fine. We go like, okay, that's fine. And then this is coming out right as Mr. Bill Gates. Okay, so by taking dairy farming out of the equation, BioMilk says its product could make feeding babies more environmentally sustainable. Producing 1 kilogram of packaged formula creates between 7 and 11 kilograms of carbon dioxide. I don't understand this whole push about the environment. Like, I don't understand this. If we actually went off every single time they said that the world was going to end, they said the world was going to be over this time in 1980. They said that the world was going to be over in 2000 and 1960. People protest the environment all the time. Like, I'm not anti-climate change. I believe in climate change. I know it's happening. It's happening every day, right? Humans make the world hotter. Okay, that's fine. But is it because they care about the environment, or is it because companies like BioMilk, companies like Beyond Meat, companies like Impossible Foods, all these huge companies can make billions of dollars if a few people go up there and they scare the shit out of Americans, saying that if you live along the water, your house is going to be underwater, so you got to buy Impossible burgers because animals are killing the ozone layer? The promise of a greener alternative to formula has attracted investment from Bill Gates' breakthrough energy ventures. So Bill Gates is investing in fake tip milk. You know what I mean? Like, this is the shit that's weird to me. Like, at the same time that everyone's going, like, we don't have any breast milk, Bill Gates is like, don't worry, guys. I'm investing in fake tip milk, and it's going to be available within the next 3 years. And, like, I don't understand, like, this whole, like, fear. Like, why do they drive so much fear into people? Like, it's like they leverage our emotions to put money in their pockets. It's insane. Like, when Elon Musk called out Bill Gates for shorting Tesla, which Tesla is one of it's the greatest American company that's ever been in America in terms of employment, in terms of innovation, and for all this fucking green people out there who love the earth, oh my God, and they kiss flowers and they're vegan because they think being vegan's better for the environment, which is complete bullshit. Like, I don't understand, how did that come around? I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure that's not true. Like, why is it bad to eat meat? I'm gonna go in hard on that. But, like, I don't understand, like, this. Like, why would you short Tesla? That doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? But you're pro environment. What are you talking about? Why are you telling the world that, where there's gonna be another pandemic within the next 5 years? What are you doing? You don't know that. Like, shut up. You're just scaring people. Like, shut the hell up. And then we don't have baby milk, but you're telling people it's okay. My firm is gonna we're investing allegedly a lot of money. You're gonna have your tip milk again, but this time it's gonna be made from a robot. And guess what? It's not gonna be made from a cow. You know why? Because we love the environment. It's like, what? I don't get it. None of it makes sense. And it's so hard to like be like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but like so much of the shit that was like a conspiracy is now fucking true, bro. It's just fucking true, man. I'm not gonna get into it, but like you look up, you just think about all the conspiracies that were going on and then Google them. They're true. Okay, so fuck off with that shit. But that was the other thing I want to get into, and I'm gonna probably finish on this because I farted methane. I'm killing the environment. Fuck the ozone layer. I'm just kidding. I love ozone, not odor though, or BL. Oboe, hobos. How's the market doing? Let's see. You gotta look at the market while you're podcasting. Duh. There you go. 263% today. Good. QQQ's bounced back over above $300. Nice. S&P's up 2.18%. Nice. I'll take it. That's a win. The market's been just getting mauled lately. Huge announcement. These horrible habits will crush your success. Shut the fuck up. Kendrick Lamar, brand new album. It's amazing. Fuck Brian Callen. Anyways, what I want to get into is like you guys remember, I'm 25. Okay. So when I went to school, they did a lot of like, I took a class called environmental science. I think it was called environmental something. And basically what this class was is you sat down and they showed videos of why farming animals was so bad for the environment. And they showed us why fracking was so bad for the environment. And they showed us why recycling can save the world. Recycling is going to save the whole world. That's what they were showing us. And I kid you not, like I wish I was lying, but that's what they showed us as a kid. And I remember watching those videos as you know, this was 9th grade, 10th grade. I remember sitting there watching those videos and going like, what are they doing? Why are they showing us this? You know, that was my reaction as like a, 13-year-old. I was like, what are these adults doing to me? I don't give a I'm not going to stop eating meat because some cow cries when I murder it. I'm not going to stop eating chicken because some chicken dies. I don't care. I really don't. And like I have decided very sternly that, and I think what it was is if you are somebody who despises those who eat meat, like you don't realize that eating meat, I think I don't know. I didn't like the idea that as you know, in school that they were like, it's almost like they were trying to like breed us, put us in a certain section to be like, I hate meat. I'm only going to recycle, and factory farming can go to hell. And then the world's going to fall apart. Here's my thing. As the population continues to grow, you're going to have to continue to produce meat. It's never going to stop. Meat's never going to stop. You know, people are always going to eat meat. That's just what it is. And you got to understand when you are a vegan or you're somebody who doesn't eat meat, you eat just plants and fruit. So vegetables and fruit. How do you think that stuff is grown? Like, how do you think people make fields for green beans? How do you think people make fields for watermelon or oranges or avocados? Which, by the way, avocados is run by the goddamn, what's it called in Mexico? The cartel. There's a avocado cartel. Avocado cartel. Mexican drug cartels are getting into the avocado and lime game. Mexico cartels blamed for squeezing avocado industry. Okay. The ban on Mexico avocados has been lifted, but an economist and a student at the Miami Herbert Business School boasted the cartels are a real threat to the popular green fruit in the United States. On the eve of the Super Bowl, where the Mexican Mexican avocado producers again ran their ad, as they have for the past decade, highlighting the health values of the popular fruit. The United States temporarily banned the importation of avocados from Mexico after a U.S. health inspector was threatened at a plant in Michoacan in western Mexico. While the ban has since been lifted, Alex Hornstein, an economist at the University of Miami and Allen Herbert Business School, and Eugene Elizondo, a business student from Monterrey, Mexico, explored the messy influence of the cartels in Mexico that complicate the commercialization of the fruit in just about every aspect of Mexican society. The popularity of green gold, as the fruit is sometimes called in Latin America, has skyrocketed in the U.S., and 80% of avocados are imported from Mexico, where they are grown year-round as opposed to areas in the U.S. where they are seasonal. Chipotle, you're the ringleader of this cartel. You're the reason for people in the cartel, allegedly. Hornstein, an associate professor of Latin America and a Latin American specialist, what does that mean? Said that a new ban or other complications with the crop would reward U.S. avocado producers. Quote, they would see the price of their product dramatically increased if the bigger supplier, Mexico, cannot sell to the U.S. He pointed out the biggest losers would be U.S. consumers, who would have to pay higher prices, and the Mexican producers would lose their biggest market. The U.S. lifted the ban this past weekend after Mexican authorities assured the Department of Agriculture's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service that safety measures for inspectors would be strengthened. Hornstein explained that U.S. inspectors visit plants in Mexico and in other areas and countries to certify that producers comply with U.S. regulations. In other words, that they are free from pests, disease, and other health concerns. Mexico exports approximately $3 billion worth of the fruit annually. Still, the figure accounts for just 0.2% of Mexico's $1.4 trillion GDP. Therefore, the country as a whole, the impact on an avocado ban would not be too big. Yet the Michoacan's producers, it's a far different story, he said. Media reports have indicated that the threatening call and alleged harassment of the U.S. inspector was a result of a cartel turf war in the western Mexico state. Here we go. Quote, cartels in Michoacan are entrenched in all economic activities, and by the observed results of many years of war against them, there seems to be little the Mexican government can do. Elizondo, originally from Mexico and a junior majoring in finance and economics, highlighted how the cartels have evolved in Mexico. At one time, they dealt exclusively in narcotic trafficking, but in past decades, they have diversified to infiltrate a wide range of facets of the Mexican economy. By the way, this article is from Miami News, news.miami.edu. In the 1980s, the Guadalajara cartel, headed by Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, controlled all the routes in Mexico, which led to less violence. Elizondo explained. Gallardo was arrested in 1989, 33 years ago, and the cartel was split up into many sectors, which is when the violence took off. What? What is this shit? North Korea did what? The fuck is North Korea doing now? God damn it, North Korea. These fucking savages out there. It's kind of funny that they just now... North Korea said it is suffering an explosive outbreak of, quote, fever with 350,000 cases just one day after announcing it's COVID. I don't think North Korea ever had COVID, allegedly. But they definitely had COVID. Which is so funny that they were just now talking about it. Yeah, you can't see numbers for it. In 1989, the cartel was split up into many sectors, which is when the violence took off. When Mexico, under President Felipe Calderón, declared war on the cartels, absolute chaos arose. Elizondo explained. adding that he was living in Mexico at the time and that it was common to see the bodies of cartel war victims publicly displayed. The war on drugs in Mexico was a total bloodbath, he added. War on drugs in America has been horrible as well. That's what I'm saying. The cartels mastered moving, fueled by the demand in the U.S., Mexico became the intermediary for the movement of drugs contraband from the cartels in Colombia and other countries in South and Central Mexico in the 1980s. The cartels mastered moving both people and products to the U.S., the biggest consumer. Now we see the culmination of years and years of drug cartel development, Alonzo said. While Michoacan is the only country is the only state currently eligible to ship avocados to the U.S. and a major supplier, the Mexican state of Jalisco was approved for distribution in December. Shipments, however, will not commence until May or June and will be much smaller compared to exports from Michoacan. Cartels in Mexico have expanded in other industries and product hotels, restaurants, and nightclubs as they are able to clean all the money that is coming in. The cartels are certainly interested in avocados because of the revenues they produce. But Hornstein and Elizondo agree that curbing the power of cartels, which generate huge profits through a legal enterprise, is a supremely complicated endeavor. If the cartels maintain their cash flows, they have absolutely no incentive, even war, to stop. Hornstein suggested the avocado squeeze, while bothersome for U.S. consumers, was a microcosm of pervasive, tragic problem in Mexico. Quote, applying the rule of law and dismantling these criminals' organizations is the only long-term solution. Yet for that, you need a strong state that is willing to act decisively and not one that many times is simply an accomplice, referring to Mexico. Cartels in Mexico have penetrated all layers of the civil society, and therefore it isn't a problem that can be solved through wars, he added. It's time to focus on more creative approaches than just alarm confrontations in which most of the time the heaviest burden is usually on the people who are not even part of the problem. What was I even talking about? I don't know. But I do know avocados are bad. They're good, but like they cause a lot of chaos. But yeah, guys, Economic 101. That was today's topic. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Next week will be episode 257. If you guys want to like, comment, subscribe here, that'd be awesome. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace out. See you. Have a beautiful, beautiful week.